You are beautiful, you are brave, you are bold, and you are enough just as you are. Keep doing good to become good. How many of you have heard these things spoken to you once or twice in your life? I know I've heard them over and over and over. And while I'd love to believe the lie or the fact that I can be good enough on my own, that if I just keep on trying hard enough, then I can get better, I know that this is not the truth. However, I remember specifically one time being on a van, coming home from a Christian camp, and expressing my doubts about my own self-worth and doubts about my character development, wondering, am I good enough? Can I ever become good enough? And my friends gathered around me, looked me in the eyes and said, but Maggie, you are good enough. Look what you've done and look what you are doing. You're worth it and you can be good enough. In fact, you are. Even when I decided to swallow this lie, that I was perfect on my own and that my accomplishments made me a first-rate version of myself, and that if I just tried hard enough, I could be good enough and get better, I felt unfulfilled. Even in the moment of deciding that perhaps that could be true about myself, I felt empty inside, because this is a lie. Sometimes the world tells us, always be a first-rate version of yourself, but we can't do that. And so today I want to look at that statement through three main points. The first being the lie, again, the lie, and the second being the truth, and the third and final point being the challenge. So let's look at that first point, the lie. How is a statement, always be a first-rate version of yourself, a lie? Or how does it permeate and lead to the lie that we can be enough all by ourselves? Something that I struggle to believe all the time. Well, the truth is, because of our sin nature and because of our failures and our mistakes, we cannot be good enough on our own. I think we all recognize this, that none of us are perfect. I recognize this and I believe it. But I'm a perfectionist, and I always try and look first and foremost to my accomplishments, and secondly, to what God has planned for me. I always approach a challenge with grit and determination, which is not a bad thing, but what it leads to is when I fail at something, I tack that failure onto my character, and I assign that failure to my own self-worth, because I'm looking to my accomplishments to do better, to become better, to be that first-rate version of myself. And no matter how hard I try, I cannot fill the God-shaped vacuum in my heart with my accomplishments. In fact, Blaise Pascal once said, quote, "There's a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every man that cannot be satisfied by any created thing, but only by God the Creator, made known through Jesus Christ." That is the truth. So we've seen that the lie is that we can be a first-rate version of ourselves and we can be enough on our own. So let's move on to that second point, the truth. The truth is that we can't. And the truth is that when we try to stuff those things down into the God-shaped vacuum in our own hearts, we are left feeling unfulfilled and unsatisfied. The truth is, we have a perfect version of a first-rate version of a human being to look up to, Jesus Christ. And as Sunday school as that answer may sound, and as tart as it may seem, I've seen this work through my life in countless ways. You all already know that I'm a perfectionist and that I rely on my accomplishments to give me my self-worth and value. Thankfully, I'm surrounded by friends and family who recognize this in me and have consistently pointed me to Christ. And I will say this, I have never, ever regretted looking to Jesus as my example or as the person who I can ask for help in all things. So that leads me to my third and final point today, and that is the challenge. I challenge all of us, myself especially. Do not look to becoming a first-rate version of yourself. Do not look to becoming good enough or to your accomplishments to fulfill you or even to make you who you are. Yes, they are an important part of you, but they are not what should define you. We know that Jesus Christ died for us, and if he was willing to do that, then we know that we can humble ourselves, that I can humble myself and ask for his help in all things. Even when I fail, I know that he is there for me and he's going to hold me up. So I challenge all of us today. Look around. What are areas in your life where you are looking to your accomplishments to fulfill you? When you're trying to do better, to become better, and become that first-rate version of yourself that the world promises you can become. We know that we can't. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't strive for it, but we know who is that first-rate version of ourselves, and we know who is perfection incarnate. And I challenge us all, let's look to him and his wisdom instead of our own every single day. To God be the glory. Thank you.